Forget it.
The FlameCast!
Hey, we did another one of these.
Hello.
Hey, Windy.
How you doing, TOBOR? You good?
Good, yeah. Happy FlameCast number 10.
Number 10. No, they said it would never happen.
No, yeah. They wanted it to, though.
Oh, of course they did.
Yeah.
They've been
Well,
queuing
at
up
least
in their tens.
At least T-Tone wanted it to happen.
Well, here it is.
Yeah, T-Tone, this one's for you, pal.
Damn right it is.
Yeah.
Damn right. Yeah. Well, here we are. Number 10 FlameCast, rekindling the old burning embers of our love, TOBOR.
Yeah, it's good to see you again. We don't talk outside of this ever, so we.
No, through choice.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? We like to build up that podcast tension. You know?
Exactly, and then release.
Exactly, a sudden release.
Yeah.
In 1 hour of quality, high, premium content.
Drink it in.
Yeah. All right. So, well, here we are. So let's kick this off then, TOBOR, shall we?
Yeah, everything sucks, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for joining us. See you later.
So, but you've been working on GO2 stuff.
I have. Yeah.
And it's looking amazing.
Well, thank you very much. I didn't want to be the one to say that. But yeah, no, I have.
He just sent me a direct message to tell me it's amazing.
No, I've been working ridiculous amounts, to be honest. I've never worked so intensely on a single game before. It's mental.
It
But
shows.
I'm hoping it's going to be worth it. There's so much going into it. It's unreal. Today I was working on cool stuff. Actually, I was working on randomly generated caves in the planets that can house random events of different rarity, which should be fun. Obviously, from your expected empty caves or caves full of treasure chests, all the way down the list to a cave perhaps full of physics-based giant eggs. Who knows? There's lots of fun to be had down there, TOBOR.
Yeah. Well, you're like, just with your backgrounds and everything too, like the settings.
Okay.
You're knocking it out of the park with the production values.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, and that is to say that your work before this was terrible, but now it's good.
Well, I appreciate that. No, it's
No, I mean, it sounds, that's a weird compliment to give, right? But it's like, oh, your stuff is looking so good. It's like, oh, was I fat before? You know?
Yeah, no, I get it. It's one of those, isn't it? But no, I get what you're saying. But the bar is so much higher now, isn't it? You know, especially in indie games, the bar is so high, and it's kind of.
Yeah, I think it's easy to trick yourself into maybe thinking that's true.
Okay.
You
don't think it's true?
I can elaborate. Yeah, I can elaborate.
Please do.
Well, I think all of this stuff comes in cycles. I mean, it depends on who you're going after and what, you know, where you're trying to fit into the market. You know.
Yep.
Like, but there's always, I think there's always going to be like a rotation of like, you know, there's going to be people that aren't producing like Blizzard quality work, let's say. There's a little bit of a sneak preview for a topic, but and then there's going to be like people that just get better, or they get more money and they get a bigger team, and then you know, and then as they do that, like they're going to lose a little bit of their, you know, niche appeal, I think.
Oh yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
So it's a little cyclical, I think.
Yeah. No, I think you're right, but I do think the general level of entry is much higher than it was. You know, so
yeah.
And I don't want to mess around in the little leagues forever. You know. Do you know what I mean? So you got to put in everything I've got and see if that's good enough. You know, and see where that takes me.
Yeah. Well, it's showing, and I think well, the tools are certainly getting better.
Yeah.
To make this stuff, so
yeah.
I mean, I think in that capacity too, like you're correct there, where it's just like, well, yeah, this stuff is just getting better.
Yeah, And I think it's also a game. It's always a game of visibility, right? But especially now. So when I talk about you've got to hit harder to get noticed. There's like 10 great games a week being released, if not more. And not just talking about high production value and huge budgets, just talking about fantastic games. Just because of the huge number of games being released, you're not just up against like 3 or 4 amazing releases a month. It's almost every day. So if your game's not if it's not catching people's eye, then you're in trouble. So, and production value catches eyes, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're spoiled for content, I think.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, but it's also a personal thing, It's not I didn't try on my other games, but if you're not putting more into every game you make, you don't want to go backwards, Forever forwards, TOBOR.
Onward. Death and glory.
Onwards and upwards, towards the sun.
Yeah.
And stars. Yeah.
Starting to peel.
Yeah, I've been putting a lot into it. But I think it'll be worth it, and it's a lot of fun. So I've been putting some other cool stuff in recently. So you can now boost your drill through the planets. You got like a nitrous button, which is really nice to play with, because your drill just goes mental. But yeah, it's coming along swimmingly. Thank you very much for asking, TOBOR. That's very kind of you.
I'm nothing if not generous.
So yeah, there's that. I've also got Scud Mobile coming out, which is an interesting.
Have you announced this yet? Have you announced this?
Oh, not officially anyway. I don't think. I think the people in the Discord and stuff know about it.
FlameCast exclusive.
Damn right. So there's a mobile game coming from Windybeard soon, being developed in collaboration with another. Pal of mine, fantastic programmer. So it's been developed from the ground up. It's a sort of splice, if you will, of Scud Frenzy and like a more traditional Infinite Runner.
Okay.
So it's crashing the two together. So you've got this Carnage-based Infinite Runner where you just earn cash, and it's pretty intense.
Satisfying.
It's very good, actually.
I'm glad you're poking around with Scud again.
Yeah. We'll see where it goes. I've not done anything in the mobile market, so we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, that's spooky.
It is. But you got to have a go. You got to have a go, right? But it's.
I've
really,
thought about
really
it because it seems so easy, but
Well, that's it, isn't it? You think Steam's bad for visibility?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Times that by 10 games a day. You know what I mean? We're talking about hundreds, thousands,
trillions
of games a minute. I've heard rough estimate.
They just multiply out there.
Yeah.
In their disgusting petri dish.
Yeah. I've actually heard that within 3 months, there'll be so many games on the App Store that there'll be no more storage space on Earth. I don't know if that's true.
Jesus.
So that's
disgusting.
what I've been working on. That's what I've been doing, TOBOR. But enough about me. I'm tired of talking about me. Let's talk about you.
Oh, God, no.
Tell me what you've been doing. And tell me now.
Yeah. Well, Savage is kind of rolling along. I was having a really hard time with it, which
Yeah.
I came and prostrated myself on the couch of the therapy couch of Windybeardgames a few times.
I'm very gentle.
Yeah. But November and December particularly were just like bad. Well, I think because of the holidays slowing things, the combination of things, like holidays slowing things down, realizing, the dread kind of sinking in. It's like, oh, the game's not going to be done this year. And yeah, just like, I think, and burnout caught up with me from early access.
Yeah.
So I felt like I didn't have any more ideas, which was a terrifying thing. Because there was still content to do, but I didn't have any it's like, why am I even doing this? Like, I'm, making rooms and stuff, and it's like, oh, this is just like the ice level now, I guess. And I want like the kind of game I'm working on too, and just the whole one of the whole reasons I've been doing it is because I like world building, and I don't want there to feel like, the first half of the game was world built.
Yeah.
And then the second half was just some kind of throwaway platformer thing,
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started to do something that I had never really done all that much before, and that was just sort of concept sketching and writing and stuff like
nice.
that. So nice. Just fleshing out the cultures of the new area in the game world with like languages and stuff and like factions and why are they fighting, and so it's not just like, oh, it's ice level, so there's slippery platforms, watch out, oh no,
kind
of stuff.
Richness and depth.
I hope.
It sounds awesome, man. But the game is amazing. But I can imagine it's sort of a rod for your own back in that regard, isn't it? When you're adding a new area to the game, it needs to be just as rich and thought out as the rest.
I think when I'm done, it's gonna be like 3 games basically.
Yeah.
I think early access was the right call for me in that regard.
Yeah, definitely.
That was the compromise, at least. It was like, well, I could release, a smaller game now, or I could just kind of do early access and then release these bigger, chunkier updates. One of the things that is coming, though, which I am very excited about, is being able to cut off, specifically, there's a creature in the game where you can cut its tongue off now and use the tongue as a whip, as a weapon. But that awesome. Sort of philosophy is also carried over to other enemy types where you can like break off pieces of them, and it's like this, very primitive kind of weapon until you bring it over to a forge and you upgrade it and make it like, add steel to it or something. And
yeah, but that sounds amazing.
It's fun and stupid, and it's savage.
Well, it is savage. Yeah. Glorious, my friend. Glorious. It sounds good. How much have you got left to do, do you reckon? Where do you reckon you're at?
I'm over halfway.
Oh.
Yeah. Content wise, it's like, if I get my way, which might not be good for me, I'm at about like a little over halfway with like the the levels and the bad guys and stuff. I always need more enemy types. Like there's never enough. There's never enough enemy types. There's never enough NPCs that I want to put in there to talk to and to
There needs to be enough TOBOR.
There does need to be, yeah.
There is. There's always Savage too.
There is, yeah.
Glorious though. It's a good game. If you lot are watching this and you haven't got it, buy it now. Best game you'll ever play.
Please.
Until GO2 is released, obviously.
Yeah. Then drop everything. And
no, it's good. It really is good. I need to finish it up. Really, I had a good old slap at it, and I need to play through the rest of it. Very good. Very good.
What about you? How far do you reckon? How deep are you? Or close? How close are you to?
I think some days I sit there and think, oh God, this is nearly finished, and then other days I sit there and think I've barely started. Right? It's the weirdest game I've ever made. It's far weirder to make this one than it was the original.
Yeah.
In that I'm spending all of my time building a game with no content in it yet, because the game is a series of locations in maps and planets with data, right? So I haven't done all this data. So I've got like 1 or 2 sort of test planets, and that's it.
Yeah. You got a lot of menu management kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all linking in, XP systems and upgrade systems and all this. So it doesn't matter if there's 100 rooms in the game or the 2 that I'm working with to test it. It all works the same. So there's no content, and I'm just endlessly adding these systems in and tying them together. And I'm at this sort of point where it's all meeting in the middle, if you know what I mean. It's all sort of joining together.
Yeah.
Which is tremendously satisfying.
That's a good spot to be in.
Yeah.
You catch a wave.
Some things have been cut. A few other things have been added in. So I've been designing scenes, as you said, which you can find out in space. They're just sort of points of interest where you get prizes and cash and stuff. But I'm designing like these high definition sceneries and images of like crashed spaceships and research facilities that are then accompanied by a load of story. There's probably a load of nonsense, but it'll be information nonetheless. And when you're exploring space, you're never going to be far away from something interesting to look at, and that's the point, And I think that the value that'll add to the game is tremendous, because it's just, it makes it an actual universe to explore rather than just a place to find planets in,
Yeah.
But that's taken a lot of time. to do
the
those.
amount of
They're not-
content that I've already seen. I mean, you say you're working on a game without content, and I know what you mean by that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like me designing the shop
Yeah,
and
that's
inventory system in Savage, where it's like, what is this even for? Like you're doing it. You do it for like a month or two, and you're like, I'm not going anywhere. But then you add the weapons and stuff that the shopkeeper's going to sell you, and then you go and you talk to the guy, and then it opens up, and you suddenly buy a dagger, and you're like, oh my god.
It all works, yeah.
Yeah, but the stuff that you're putting into this is like insane. Like you have all these different kinds of like material that you can drill and mine and stuff, and like all the tiles are like gorgeous and like handcraft. Like a lot of them look like I want to see them on a board game. Like I want to see them printed like on a thing that I can move a little plastic drill around. For some reason it's like got a really tactile
Yeah, they're fun.
They're
fun, but it's actually a real challenge to design those. So I think I'm at about 70. I've finished designing about 70 of them. We've got to do 160, and it's hard to sit down and go, right, 112. What do I design next that doesn't look like any of the others?
Yeah,
it's not an easy task. It weighs heavy on the soul.
Yeah, that's where I'm at, very very specifically. With one of the main things I think that was holding, like, keeping me down was the man was not wanting to reuse assets for the new zones and like I already had all these like pretty decent dungeon tiles and like terrain tiles and stuff, and it's like it's a new area. It needs this new culture, this new color set.
Yeah.
To show off what these people are about, and new ruins with different architecture that like means a different thing over there. Like, oh, this is the god that these fucking idiots worship over here, and like these guys hate that god, so they're gonna and that's like all fucking packed into one stupid little like tile set or something. Where I just didn't want to reuse assets, and it was really it was giving me a lot of anxiety, I think.
Yeah, I feel that because I sit there and I look at my tiles, for example, or when I'm drawing planets, I've got to draw like 60 planets, and that's just the planets. I've still got comets and moons to draw and all this stuff.
Yeah,
and you think, if I was to just turn this sort of 62 degrees, change the color saturations and change the hue shift, I'd have a completely different planet.
Yeah.
And whilst that is an extremely valid thing to do, there's a part of me that's thinking, it would be better if it was a completely new planet, right? With new features or something interesting about it. So I feel that pain. I do use that though, a little. I'll probably have like 10 out of the 160 tiles that I'll recolor. Things like that.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I've done that too.
Yeah.
If there's like an area where it's like
an entire tile set, I can fully understand.
Yeah. It's like I'm not going to use this spot too much, and I just want lava down there. Like I'll change the color and sort of, flip things, like mirror things, and it's like, oh, that's a different rock now.
Done. Perfect. But that's done across the industry, even at the very top.
Yeah. Well, you look at something like Skyrim, and they have like 3 location types in Skyrim.
Yeah.
They've got like ancient burial crypt kind of thing, normal man-made stone dungeon, and I don't know, fucking something else. And it's like you're gonna get one of those sort of 3 things in Skyrim over the course of like, it's a game like people have played for like 6 million hours.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine they were to hand design every single asset in every single cave or dungeon. Would have never been released.
Yeah.
Never.
But at some point enough is enough.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel that. But still, when you've got a finite number, when you know that you've got to design 8 tile sets, for example, then it's all right. But if you've got something like 60 to design, and then that's when you need to start playing games with the, reusing and be a bit clever with your time.
Yeah.
And that's fully understandable.
Yeah, and I'm certainly not looking at an impenetrable wall like that where it's like, oh, there's 600 biome types or whatever. It's a lot of it is just like, oh, I need grasslands, snowy mountains, highlands, a desert, and some ocean crap or something, or in a swamp, and that's like. But then I go like deep, and I'm like, oh, but they need their own specific dungeon types, and they need their own, So I mean, but like what you said about like it's sometimes it feels like you look at it and it's like, holy crap, I'm almost done with this thing.
Yeah.
And then other days it's like I'm not even, that's me almost like every other day. So
yeah. No, it's a weird one, isn't it? I don't think you can ever really know how far along you are. I think once you're in that mid-development sort of grind, you're anywhere from 40 to 80% complete. At any given time, it goes up and down, depending on what it is you intend to put in tomorrow or take out.
Depending on what you had for breakfast.
Well, that's it. Like, because I'm always toying with the idea of adding like a shop, because at the moment in GO1 they had like a marketplace. GO2 doesn't have the same need for it as GO1 did, so I'm forever toying with the idea of either having it or removing it entirely. But if I have it, that's another couple of weeks' work or a week's work, whatever.
Yeah.
If I take it out, I've saved myself time, so I'm closer to being finished. So I never know how close I am to finishing this until it's actually done, So it's weird. It's weird. But I've started the Steam store page as well.
Nice.
I started trying to get that together, but
is that public?
Not yet. Not yet. I need to. I'm not entirely happy with. I want to do like some set pieces just for the store page.
Yeah.
That's the plan, but I just got to find time to do it. I'm thinking of some cool scenes. So like, so I've got my logo. Obviously, I've already done the GO2 logo, but for the actual key art for it, I was thinking of having some sort of angled image of a drill, and then loads of sort of like tiles flying out at different angles, and thought it could be quite cool. But that's not going to be a quick image to do, and I don't know.
Yeah, you got to do all that crap that doesn't even appear in the game.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm uncertain if personally. I know some people will say get it up as quick as you can, and some people will say, oh, hold your hand a little bit. But I'm
There's a balance to be struck. There's a balance to be struck.
Yeah, I don't want to put it up too early and have bad screenshots, no trailer, no key art, nothing. I don't personally think that would be better than waiting a while until I have it. That extra time. Because a lot of people will see it for the very first time when it first goes up, even if it's for wish listing, and they'll go, oh, that looks like shit. I'm not going to click on that. What you want people to do is, fill their trousers with whatever they're holding and then click wish list. That's pretty much what we're after. Yeah, exciting times ahead, TOBOR. I'm frothing in anticipation.
Yeah.
I really am.
You scrape some of that up and bottle it and sell it.
Damn right. And I think this is a good point to treat myself to the exquisite, cool, crisp taste of Little Kong Strong, ladies and gentlemen. Little Kong Strong. Gives me the energy I need, TOBOR.
For the energy that you shall soon have. The drink of Geo.
Very good. Unofficial sponsor. There's no sponsorship. None at all.
Yeah.
I just drink.
Hashtag please.
Yeah, hashtag energy drinks.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, that's that. So what's you have any idea when you think you'll finish Savage? It'll be this year, right? 2020.
So every stupid year, this is disgusting that I even have to say it like this. Every stupid year, like I'm like, oh, this has got to be it because it has to be, And I'm gonna say the same thing this year too, where it's like, it has to be. The only reason I don't want to say that is because I've said it before, You
should make a deal with yourself. If you don't finish it by the end of 2020, you cut off a finger or something.
Yeah.
Put some real value in the odds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, mate, you work on it for as long as you feel you need to. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic piece when it's all finished. It already is. Glorious.
Yeah. I am ready to be done with it, though. I feel it in my bones. I want to move on to the next thing, even if that is a Savage 2 or whatever.
Do you have any ideas what you want to do next?
Yeah, I have several. You know what? One of them, too, is like I would love to do a... since I fleshed out like this weird, crazy little fantasy place, like I would love to do some kind of tabletop game, some kind of dungeon crawler or miniatures based, like Hero Quest or something.
Yeah, awesome. I was going to say, actually, those streams you've been doing are absolutely amazing.
Those have been helping a lot. I think that's a little bit of a little bit of a medicine, self-medicating thing. If you don't know what Wendy's talking about, I've been live streaming Hero Quest, which is a tabletop the board game. It's a fantasy RPG board game where you move tiny plastic men around spaces and kill like other plastic goblins and orcs and crap like that. But actually, that's one of the ways that I've been trying, kind of successfully getting over this hump too, is exploring things like Dungeons and Dragons and Hero Quest and stuff, and looking at like monster manuals and stuff, and specifically ways that devices that people use to do solo role playing, which sounds weird, but like DMing for themselves, and how they do that is they take a bunch of like books and manuals, and there are books written for this too, like that have tables in them, where it's like if I need a quest or I need an NPC or a combination of those things, I can roll a D20, and it's like, oh, there's an orc male who is an orphan, roll again. Oh, he's got he's got Down syndrome or whatever. It's like he lost his, roll again, and it's like, oh, he lost his puppy, and his puppy's down a well, and it's like that kind of stuff where it's like, oh, I can kind of approximate this and put these things into a video game.
Awesome.
Yeah, I could turn it into content. So it's been fun to kind of stretch my brain in ways that I hadn't considered before. So this was kind of on accident, just because I kind of like that stuff anyway, because I'm a nerd.
Filthy nerd.
Yeah,
but the best thing about it, TOBOR, this is the thing, and obviously I mean this with the greatest respect, it took me by surprise, the level of professionalism in your streaming of it. Like, you're obviously, when you stream and any content you create is of the highest quality, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, what are you saying about my other...
But the setup you had was fantastic. Even when you was doing the narrating and you'd flick on an echo and all that.
It's fun.
It was so good. I don't even know what those games are. I've never played anything like that in my life, But I was mesmerized. It was hilarious.
Well, I appreciate really well done, that. It was fun, and the people that are showing up in chat and stuff, they get to, if there's spaces available, if somebody died, like they can, take the role of another character and stuff. You get to see what happens to them. So it's fun. I'm glad and to use like just cameras that I've had laying around and stuff and put them to use. Yeah.
It was cool to see your setup as well, though. You shared some photos of it all. It was quite a big operation, right? It wasn't just like a camera and a table. It was a big old job.
Yeah. It takes up a huge amount of space in our very tiny apartment. But I had to pull out a 6x3 or 6x2.5 or whatever table, folding table, and put the game on it, and then find places to put the cameras and get getting camera angles on tiny men.
Not easy. Not easy. You did a good job, man. It was really good. It was really good.
Thank you.
Do more of that.
It very well could have been a disaster, but
could have been.
Yeah.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
It may yet.
I've never played anything like that, and I enjoyed it. I didn't know what was going on. I'm not going to lie to you.
Sure. Yeah. Well, maybe next time we'll get Windybeard the dwarf in there.
Yeah, I'll be the dwarf. Yeah, charismatic, handsome, well-endowed dwarf.
Oh, it'd have to be. Yeah.
Of course, it's the only way. It's
the
only way. I've actually, my streaming's a bit all over the place, really. Personally, I try my best to stream on Fridays. But that's all I can sort of commit to at the moment. There's so much work, man.
Well, you're in the trenches right now. You're in the thick of it, and we've got a tiny visitor here at the moment.
I got the crushing weight. Yeah,
there we go.
I'm lucky, actually. I was saying to anyone who's watching, saying to TOBOR, I got a puppy. I got a new puppy, so that could interrupt me at any given moment. Luckily, I've got him on camera just to my left here. He's asleep downstairs, so problem solved.
Yeah.
But there's nothing stopping him dropping a hot parcel right in the middle of the floor at any given minute.
Yeah, you never know.
No, you don't. You don't know.
'Tis a gift.
Yeah, so that's savage. Oh, God, I've really hurt my neck.
And
I've really hurt my neck.
that's Geo.
And that's Geo too, yeah. Savage is out now, ladies and gentlemen. Be sure to jump in there and grab 3, 4, maybe even 5 copies of that. And, ready
Get primed and ready for Geo 2.
Get ready.
Yeah.
Get ready for the ride of your life. You know what I mean? I'm going to tagline it, every person's sky. You know what I mean? Because I'm no gatekeeper, you know?
Yeah, that's actually pretty good, actually.
Yeah, every person's sky.
Every person's sky. So inclusive.
Well, that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? That's what I'm about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm all about. I've also been learning some 3D, right? That's the thing I've been on at the moment.
Now that we're done kind of jerking each other off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I caught you doing a 3D in Blender.
Yeah,
like a 3D like fantasy kind of house thing.
Yeah.
Looked good too. Like that's another thing I have to get through too, is I've got so many Udemy courses that I picked up over the holidays for things like Blender, and because I want to kind of grow my skill set a little bit too.
That's exactly what I'm doing, pal. So I'm lucky enough to have some very talented artists knocking about where I am online and stuff, and some of the advice I've been given over the years is so useful. But one piece that sort of really got me, and I feel like it's pushed my work twice as good as it was in a matter of weeks, was using basic Blender models for perspective.
Yes.
So just whipping up a really quick scene, just using boxes and cylinders, and then using that in Photoshop as, perspective reference, because it's perfect perspective, isn't it? There's nothing's gone awry. You know?
Well, and then you can actually be directing the scene too.
Exactly.
It's not just some image you pulled up off Google image search or something.
Exactly. So you think to yourself, I want a house here, but I want it crooked at an angle on a cliff, and you want the camera up in the sky, and then you can do it if you can throw it together in Blender quick enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm doing, because I'm a long way off from being any good. I can box model a bit. I can throw together some squares, but I can't actually. I wouldn't be able to model a person or anything like that, let alone anything ready to go in a game. There's so many things in that I don't even know about. But yeah, it's good. It's good. I said to myself, I need to learn something this year. I don't just want to just keep drawing and getting slowly better. I want to learn a new, valuable skill.
Yeah.
Therein is the skill I've desired, and it is upon which I will cast my time.
Yeah.
Well worth it.
Yeah. Speaking of all that stuff too, you've kind of inspired me to start taking on commissions as well, just to keep things going and make sure we can eat.
Do it, man. But it's so many good things about commission. First of all, there's the green.
Yeah,
obviously, that's always helpful. Exactly, but it's also good because someone will say, "Oh, I need you to draw this. Can you do it?" And you have to think, "Well, I've never done that before, but yeah, I could do that."
Yeah.
And then you have to actually bloody do it. So it gets you doing stuff you wouldn't normally do.
Yeah. So, now you know a new thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So definitely a good thing. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you need any work done, obviously, guttering, roofing, hoovering, gardening, TOBOR's your man. Commission's open now.
I do it all.
What are you thinking about doing? What are you thinking about doing?
Oh God, like I do music, like a ton of music. That's the one thing I can do very fast.
Do it.
Is music, and then just general art asset stuff, whether it's pixel art or drawing, traditional drawing stuff.
Yeah.
A little column A, column B. You know what would be freaking awesome if I could swing it is
go on.
Commission miniature painting for like stuff like the aforementioned Hero Quest and Warhammer and whatever else.
Yeah. You got a load done, have you? Have you done a load?
Yeah, I've got a little squad of Space Marines I've done, and I've several of those actually. But
get pictures up, get them on somewhere, and link people. Say, oi.
Yeah, if you want, if you need tiny army men.
Yeah, done. I'm sure you'll get some. I'm sure you'll get some interested parties post haste. You're a man of exquisite talent, TOBOR.
Only the finest.
Probably, but I would say that. I'd agree with that. I would agree with that.
Well, I appreciate that.
Lots to learn this year, man. Lots to learn. I've got even more. I've got terrifying things to learn in the future. I think my time's up with the engine I use. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to make a leap to a bigger engine.
Yeah, you've been wrestling with.
Yeah, I love Click Team Fusion. So for anyone who doesn't know, I use an engine called Click Team Fusion to make my games. I've made all of my games with it, and it's great, right? You can make games without knowing how to program in the sort of traditional sense, right? It's all visual scripting and all this nonsense, right? But it just the further in I get, the more complex my games, the more it seems to hate me with every turn, you know. And I look at the things like Unity and Unreal are doing with envious eyes.
Yeah,
Some of the things that they're pushing, and it just feels like it's only a matter of time before I fall behind too much with things that are expected, you know? Because I don't want to crap on Fusion at all, because I love it, and I'd recommend it to anyone still.
Yeah, you wouldn't have the games that you made.
No.
Without it.
And I could probably make another game, you know. I could make another 5, 10, 20 games. It doesn't matter. But it's some of the things that I want to do, I think are just going to become infinitely more difficult with that engine. So I don't know. But it does mean I've got to learn a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know. But hopefully GO2 will sell like 600 million units, and then I can just, get some sweaty nerd to program for me. And I can just sit atop a golden tower.
Yeah, you have an army of nerd slaves doing your bidding.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, that's the dream, right? That's the dream.
Yeah, making them crunch.
Yeah, just crunching them 70, 80 hours a day, no food.
Yeah, none.
Yeah, what's that? You don't want to work anymore? Well, I'm turning it up to 140 degrees in here.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Yeah.
I quit. You can't quit.
Yeah, you can't quit. Why not? Because I bought your house. You're going to live on the street if you do.
Yeah.
Crunch. Yeah. No, man. Everyone's crunching every job on Earth. Anyone who gives a shit about what they do is crunching. Simple as that.
Yeah, people that work at Starbucks, wherever.
At the Payless. Mm-hmm. That's an American place, isn't it?
Payless Shoe Source. Yeah.
Yeah. Backbone of American society, right there.
Crunch.
Payless. Yeah, crunching away. But hey, that's always a tricky subject, especially in this industry, isn't it? You can never side with the corporation, can you?
Yeah, the games industry, like most discourse, is like a frickin' minefield anymore.
Yeah. I was saying this the other night. Your best is to let the internet frenzied nonsense collapse in on itself. It will do, given enough time.
Yeah.
Give it enough time, but we'll see. Talking about AAA nonsense.
Yeah. Here we go.
Didn't you wanted to discuss Warcraft 3, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is FlameCast Reforged, so.
Yeah. We're squirting gasoline.
Yeah.
All over the place.
AAA video game industry has delivered another gem in the form of Warcraft 3 Reforged.
Oh no. Tell me all about it, TOBOR. I know very little. I know a little bit, but I don't know too much.
Well, okay. Let's set the scene, I guess.
Okay. Set the scene.
Warcraft 3, third game in a hugely celebrated, even for when it came out, franchise of of real-time strategy games. And that was a hugely anticipated game, Warcraft 3. And I liked it. Like, there were some things I had issues with in it. Like, that's when Blizzard kind of started to get real storytelling. for me. And I don't think that they've ever been very good at it. But the tech behind Warcraft 3 and everything, and being able to make your own maps, like I got into map making with Warcraft 2, like big time. That is one of my most favorite games ever. And I made huge campaigns with it and stuff, and like, put them on discs, tiny plastic objects that you had to feed into your computer.
Awesome.
Yeah, drawing like maps and like writing stories and stuff, like why the maps existed and all that crap. And Warcraft 3 comes around, and they give you even more stuff to do with it. You can do scripting with it now. You can put in your own 3D models and stuff, and basically make a whole new game. And out of that sprang stuff like League of Legends and Dota.
Yeah.
And people made all kinds of weird stuff. They made a bunch of meme maps too, like Matrix themed maps and junk like that. So it was a pretty wild scene as far as like what you would get out of mod makers and scenario writers and stuff in Warcraft 3. But I don't know, fast forward to 2018 or whatever, for BlizzCon, when they show a cinematic of that original Warcraft 3 intro of the footman and the orc, the knight and the monster fighting each other, and it looks amazing. It's like they redid it all, and it looks fantastic. And I was like, nice. Oh, what is this? It's like, I know this is Warcraft 3, and they show a whole list of like new features that they're going to add to this, basically built from the ground up, rebuilt from the ground up, reforged even version of Warcraft 3, where they're going to redo all of the in-game cinematics and stuff with new camera angles and everything. They're going to have enhanced online features and like all this crap. Like the bells and whistles were coming out of this thing, and they advertised it that way, and then they sold it that way. Like you could pre-purchase it right then.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh,
Problem number one, probably there, is you can buy the damn thing, a few years before it's done or out or anything. But what they showed was very convincing. Like it wasn't like they were, it didn't look like rocket science. It looked like a very feasible, it was like, oh, look, it's Warcraft 3 just with better models, with a better graphics engine. And it's like, oh, they kind of went in and retuned some of the camera angles for the cinematics. And apparently they were going to rewrite stuff. Like they said they were going to rewrite everything to bring the lore in with Warcraft 3 and all the retconning they had done and stuff, which I could give a shit about, that's whatever. But like new voice acting and stuff to complement the new writing, and all this stuff was on the the advertisement for it, and still is.
Oh no, go on.
So it comes out, right? And not only is it like a horrible buggy mess, like people can barely play the thing. It doesn't quite look like what they showed, which is, it's like big surprise. Like, but like I said, for when they showed it, it didn't seem like a huge, it wasn't like they were using some kind of It wasn't like, do you remember Aliens Colonial Marines?
Yeah.
It wasn't like that really. It was just like, oh, it's a nicer version of Warcraft 3. Like,
just an upgrade.
It didn't seem like something that Blizzard couldn't pull off and do well.
Yeah.
But apparently they just completely botched it. People can barely, at launch, people couldn't start the thing. Like it's running at 10 frames per second, like all this awful stuff. You look at it closer, and like a lot of the assets don't look even redone, some of them. Like a lot of it just looks like Warcraft 3, but like now there's a higher polygon like orc running around and stuff. God. And like the little animated portraits for like units and stuff that they had before, like a lot of those aren't even 3D now, like they're 2D, and it's very bizarre. It was very strange. A lot of it to me looked like like almost like some fan-made mod of Warcraft 3 where they just injected some higher level assets into it. So there's that. Online functionality is broken for it. Like a lot of the matchmaking is busted. Like the chat is broken or something. There's like aspects of it that I don't quite understand, but like there's a whole list out there of stuff that they completely gutted from the original Warcraft 3. Here's one of the huge things is now, let's say you bought the original Warcraft 3, right, through Battle.net, through Blizzard's store, and you use the client to connect to Battle.net and play with people and, you know, do match play and whatever else, and do ladder and ranking and stuff. Warcraft 3 has retroactively broken or Warcraft 3 Reforged has retroactively broken the game that you already bought, like, you know, 20 years ago.
This is the one thing, right? So, like, for me, when a company puts out a game, right, even the biggest companies can put out a stinker, right? It happens, right?
Yeah.
And I get it, budgets or whatever, you know, a game can go south, right? That's fine. It happens. Move on. But when a remake or a whatever is shit, that's one thing, right? Everyone can get over that. But when it then fucks the original, that's unheard of, right?
It's hilarious.
Like, if you don't touch the original and you put out a separate one, then everyone can go, oh, okay, well, it's not as good. We might as well play the original, right? They've got a choice. You can't just wipe history and just pop a new product in an old game. Like, I think that's a really both terrifying and interesting thing they've done. It's, you know what I mean? It's like the Final Fantasy VII remake that's coming, right? You got all these people kicking off saying, oh, it's not Final Fantasy because it's not turn-based, it's not Final Fantasy VII. But you can still play Final Fantasy VII if you wanted to. There's nothing stopping you playing the old
on a million platforms too.
Yeah, but imagine you were then to turn on the original and it went updating and then it was the new Final Fantasy VII remake, right? That's what I'm seeing here. It's like that decision, like everything else is fine, right? A bad design, shit graphics, crap programming, it don't work, right? Let's understand it can happen. But to update a classic game that was loved with the new version is
that
one
people
of the most
still play
things.
You know.
Yeah even if they didn't, even if no one was playing the original, it shouldn't matter. Don't just do it separate, you know.
Blizzard are innovating on a whole new level now.
I cannot fathom that decision, right?
It's like what you said. Like, even more accurately, I think would be like if you so I've got Super Mario Brothers just sitting over here, right?
Yeah.
And if I, like, let's say I plug it into my Nintendo, just turn it on, and somehow they've developed this new wireless tech that can target old, like, ROM sets or like chips on that board. And all of a sudden I get this cloud update on so let's say Nintendo releases a new version of Super Mario Brothers called like Super Mario Brothers Jumping Again or something. You know. And it turns out like it like removed jumping on accident or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's like madness. Now you can't jump in Mario Brothers. And then I go and I play my old one and it updates and now Mario can't jump.
Yeah, exactly. It's insane, right? Like, because I'm all for, right, it's their company, their game, they can do what they want, right? Even the old version, they can do what they want, right? But it just, the amount of steps that must have gone, the amount of meetings and the amount of professionals who must have gone through to say, update the original game with this, rather than just do a standalone update, right? A standalone thing that doesn't touch the original, right? I cannot see how anyone thought that was a good idea.
Right.
You know, even if this new one was amazing, right? In every way, it was better than the original, right? This remake. Even if it was perfect, why would you still update the original? You know?
Yeah. Why can't you leave that one alone?
Yeah, people, it's just, it already exists. Leave it.
Yeah, now that one is broken now forever.
Yeah.
When you launch the old game, it apparently downloads like 30 gigs of, you know, ghost kind of assets.
Yeah.
In case you buy the new one, in case you upgrade to Reforged or whatever, but it uses the same client now. They both use the same interface and the same.
Yeah.
And it breaks all that stuff. And they've said, or part of the user license thing or whatever, like all those old Warcraft 3 mods that either had like, you know, Star Wars shit in them or Matrix stuff or whatever, you're not allowed to use those anymore because they're from an IP that Blizzard doesn't control. Like, so all of those are like trash. You can't use them. Anything that they can't control now, Which, okay, so like that's fine, whatever. But again, it breaks something that was there already.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and any new thing that you make with Warcraft 3 Reforged, map maker, campaign editor, scenario editor, whatever, Blizzard has gone out of their way to make sure that like the legal writing means that they own like every ounce of that thing, and they don't owe you anything, or like even I was watching somebody break it down, and I can't remember who exactly this was, but it was even more like intense than I thought. Like, let's say I put something that I just made, like I made a song, right? Like I go and make a song, and then I decide to make a Warcraft 3 map, and I put my song in the map. Blizzard owns that song now, and they can do whatever they want with it. They can sell it. They don't have to credit me.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, like they can sell it bundled with whatever map thing I make or whatever. Is how I understood it, and how it was sort of phrased by somebody smarter than me, probably. But so there's that, and then there's them like still advertising this thing, like all this stuff that's not in there. So then people try to understandably get a refund.
Yeah.
The automated refund process blocks you from getting a refund with Warcraft 3 Reforged. So people have to start opening like manual tickets to get a refund. Whereas like if you try to refund Reforged, it's like your project or your product is, sorry, you can't refund it or whatever. So you got to go open a ticket and like talk to somebody and wait for them to get the ticket, and then they come around and be like, no, it looks like your product isn't eligible for refund. So you have to go through this series of appeals. Somebody eventually cracked it where they got their refund, and they posted on the Blizzard forums like, here's how you do it if you want a refund. They get banned. People started to get banned for telling other people how to refund their game.
Can you hear that?
He's upset too.
Shut up. Yeah, he's mad.
He wants a refund too.
It's sad. Oh, for fuck's sake. Silent all day. All day long he's silent, TOBOR.
You have dog Reforged.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's madness. It's madness. I love Blizzard. I think they're a great. They make some of the best games ever made. Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm gonna have to sort this dog out, mate.
No, yeah, go for it. We're gonna cut to commercial break.
America's best aerobic athlete.
Welcome back, sir.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You survived.
No, I am truly sorry.
Oh no, yeah, no, it's good. You know what? You allowed me to remember something. There's a happy ending to this story.
Oh, go on.
So since everything made through mods and everything, and the new maps, map maker stuff, is now an officially licensed Blizzard product.
Okay.
People have started to give Blizzard some new games to add to their library, and they're coming in the form of classics like Escape the Nazi death camp ovens.
Jesus. Oh Jesus! Yeah. Oh God!
Shoot all of the N words.
Oh my days!
It's hilarious. Like, people are starting to make the most toxic, foul things on purpose, to try to.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, this is what you guys wanted. Here, Blizzard, you can have all the content you can.
Put your name to this one, Blizzard. Oh dear God. Oh man. User-generated content's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying, right?
Yeah. Well, and I get that there are a lot of moving parts, and I get that nobody ever wants to make a shitty game. Nobody ever wants to do a bad job.
No,
but something happened here and continued to happen. Like, there was momentum behind bad decision after bad decision, or something. Something went wrong, horribly wrong, and then they handled it very badly. So, like in instances like this, I'm like, you know what? Like, you guys kind of deserve the ribbing that you're getting. So,
yeah,
fix it or something, or say you're sorry or whatever. But.
And it's also another thing I do find interesting. Like, Blizzard aren't This isn't their first rodeo, you know. I'll American it up for you. It's not their first time.
Yeehaw!
Yeah. So they know that if you're going to pick a beloved old IP, right, that people have been desperate for a long time, and fuck it up, you're going to get yourself a smack bot. You know
And
what I mean?
there's plenty of precedent for some people doing this before too. So it's like, come on,
many
guys.
times. Many times. Like, it's all well and good if you put out a new IP and it sucks, right? But,
Yes.
you know,
If this had
and that's-
happened with some other new, Overwatch real-time strategy or something.
yeah, people have gone, oh, it was fun and interesting, but it wasn't good, really.
Yeah, this
But
is it's maybe kind of crap actually, but you know what? Whatever.
You know, it's like doing World of Warcraft 2 and it just being a mess. Like, you just the shit you'd get, you know. But that's part of the struggle of being some of the best in the world, isn't it? You know, you're always on that knife edge, aren't you?
They certainly have some of the best talent over there, and they can afford them, but they're not the same company.
No.
Like it's not those same guys over there making freaking Blackthorn and even Warcraft. Like these there's not the same guys. Like it's not the same motivations.
I mean,
It's a completely different structure over there. It's a completely different atmosphere. It's
Yeah. But that's just the way it goes, I suppose, isn't it?
It is.
You know. Yeah. Well, that's a shame. That is a shame. I don't like to hear that, TOBOR. That brings a sadness and a darkness, not only to my heart, but to my life.
I do and I don't. I think a lot of it is very funny.
It is amusing.
Yeah.
It is pretty amusing in many ways. It is.
I certainly wouldn't want it to happen to me.
Yeah.
I don't want it to happen to anybody, but if you're running a restaurant and you say that the food won't give me food poisoning and then you give it to me and then it has poison in it and you give it to me and I get food poisoning, you can't get mad when I get mad.
Yeah, they got pretty big shoulders though, Blizzard. They can take it, can't they?
Right, yeah.
They can take it. They've already apologized though. I think there was an official apology, wasn't there?
Calling it an apology is perhaps generous.
Oh, really?
It's marketing speak.
Oh,
It's like, we're sorry that you got hurt when we hit you.
Yeah.
You know?
All the very best apologies. I love those, man.
Yeah. Apology in very, very hard quotes.
Yeah. Oh, dear. Poor Blizzard. What are you doing? What are you doing? Do you know what I reckon it probably is? Right, just as a wild guess, if I was to guess why this has happened, this is a massively underfunded, understaffed project because everyone's working on new IPs, Blizzard, Diablo 3, Overwatch 2, whatever it is they're doing.
They outsourced it for one thing.
Yeah, this isn't something they gave a shit about.
It was like they gave it to some like Asian company to do it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And they probably got halfway through, but they probably got to a point where they got better models into very old infrastructure, and then that was like all they could do. And then they gave it back and like, well, can you play it? Yeah, kinda. All right. Ship it.
Yeah. Oh, it makes you worry for the Diablo mobile, though, right? I don't really care about that anyway, but fuck.
Immortal?
Yeah. These companies are just sort of stay in their lane, right? Just put out the big titles, do your job.
Well, Bethesda's not, the Elder Scrolls people anymore. Blizzard is not, the guys that made the cool heavy metal like Warcraft stuff anymore. It's not the same.
No.
It's just not the same.
That's AAA all over, though, isn't it?
Yes.
That's the whole AAA, really. Can't afford to be that.
Hopefully, Windybeardgames and Planet TOBOR will be able to provide the classics that people crave.
Oh, I'm desperate to put out an apology.
And then we'll get so fucking huge that we can dick everybody so hard in the ass that it won't matter because we got so much money.
I'm sorry.
And by that point, we're on a yacht somewhere.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Who cares?
It's all cyclical, you see.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. You know,
Yeah.
it's the way the world goes.
Yeah, and then we can ruin our classics. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just delete them from the internet. Done. Just the problem solved, isn't it?
Yeah, you open it up and it's just a picture of a steaming turd
It's just a picture of me on my yacht.
pissing into the ocean.
Obviously, that's not what I do, ladies and gentlemen. I intend to bring not only the very best, but the highest quality interactive software to your gaming stations.
Not me.
Yeah. So what else has been going on? You said something about Stadia before we started.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me all about it.
I don't know a whole lot about this, but it's another kind of... well, long story short, I guess, which is a terrible tactic for a talk show. I guess.
Yeah, but it could be a unique selling point, isn't it? If you don't need to back up that stuff. Let's just get it over and done with.
Get right to the meat of the matter. Stadia has no games coming out.
None.
And it's a console they already sold.
Oh my days.
Apparently. That's what I saw in some random YouTube video. So now you guys get to hear it sloppy seconds through this random YouTube video.
That's
That Stadia just has nothing lined up to release to people. And then they came out in a press response or marketing response. I don't know what the fuck you call it. Like they came out and said, "Oh, that's on the publishers to decide that they want to put their games on our platform." It's like, so you had no plan.
Nothing at all.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And yet you still sold the damn I don't even know what it is that you're buying a
It's like a weird, like a portal.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's like spending £200 to download Steam.
To another way. Yeah.
That's basically what it is. That's
a good way to be. Oh.
Imagine anyone else trying that. Imagine EA or Blizzard saying, "Yeah, you can download Battle.net, but it's $299.95."
But you get this attractive controller.
Well, I don't know about you, TOBOR, but if Google want to give me a call for a small grant, we could get a few new games on their system, if you know what I'm saying. High quality.
Yeah, after that
games.
Generous plugging we just gave.
Yeah, well, that's it. This is on YouTube, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Find out. Bless them. I don't know. They're trying something new at least. I don't think it's good for the industry, but at least
Yeah. Well, On Live tried this too. Like there have been several.
Everyone wants it. Well,
Yeah.
all the corporations want it.
Yeah, the more control they can have, the more Warcraft 3s that they can ruin. Like they want that,
It's just
in a manner of
software.
speaking, of course, but
Yeah, it's just complete control, isn't it? You don't even you have nothing.
yeah.
Just a monthly fee. That's
So
all you own.
I am a little hopeful for people who want games in not that context, like that kind of understand, like this is a raw deal, man. Like I don't think I want to do, and again, like on accident, kind of the whole Warcraft 3 thing is kind of a cautionary tale for this. It's like,
I think so. Yeah.
if Activision can take your game and ruin it for you, they will.
If they can take a game you've loved for like 15 years.
Yeah, and it's not that they want to ruin
destroy
it on purpose. It's the
No.
philosophies and the practices like that go along with what they want to do. Like it winds up destroying the damn thing.
Yeah. Because there's no, I would say there's no game designer, artist, or anyone who worked on the actual game and gameplay itself that would have thought that that's a good idea.
Yeah, no, like I bet there were tons of people that were so excited to be making like 3D orcs and crap, and
Oh god, yeah.
like a lot of those guys probably were really, really into Warcraft 3, and then now look what some suits did to their work. Like it's pretty upsetting.
It's really bad. I'm gonna cry tonight.
Yeah, if I were if someone had asked me to work on Warcraft 3 Reforged or whatever, I would have jumped at the chance. Like, oh yeah, I used to play that all the time. I made maps and like all this crap. It was awesome.
Yeah. That's a real shame, isn't it?
Yeah, but something like Stadia, it's like, oh, you're multiplying that by a factor of whatever.
Yeah.
It's It's like, oh, now they control everything. It's like a
nothing is sacred.
It's like nothing. Skynet plus Blockbuster. Like Jesus.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrifying. I think that's the most scary thing about it. It really is bad to just screw with old games. You know, it's mental. Crazy move. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. And when I don't understand something, I get angry.
You know? we fear what we don't understand.
We don't, exactly. We eat what we don't understand.
Kill it.
Kill it with fire. Yeah,
with fire.
So what you've been playing then? You've been playing anything?
I've been playing Shadow of the Horned Rat a little bit.
Which is that a euphemism?
Yeah, it is. Speaking of which, I got an appointment. It's an old Warhammer game. The first computer Warhammer game.
Oh, is that the Pump the Muscle one?
Yes, yeah. The one with the little bicep button that you got to slam on to make your guys do better.
So good.
Yeah. And that one has mercifully been untouched by the ravages of the AAA industry.
Yep.
So yeah, I've been playing that. I've been playing some old 3D action hack and slash platformer things. So I usually go back to the retro when I'm looking for something to kind of inspire me or whatever.
What hack and slashes you've been playing? Which ones?
One of them is Dark Vengeance.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone has except me. I had it on Macintosh, like
right.
in 1998 or whatever.
Oh, proper old then.
Yeah, it's a fun game. There's nothing too special about it. I mean, the look and the vibe and the feel of it is really cool. But yeah, there's that one. A little bit of Rune, another 3D hack and slash game from the, I want to say 2000s, early or very early 2000s. So yeah, stuff like that, like getting back into Warhammer. I've been playing Warhammer, like the proper tabletop Warhammer with a friend of mine who lives in the same complex as me, as the apartment complex.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very good. Very nice.
Yeah, good fuel for making video games, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I come out of a slump about a couple of weeks back, actually, by a combination of watching cartoons and playing some games. I hadn't played a game for ages. Like, I hadn't bothered gaming, and I was just so focused on making a game and dragging myself through the dirt. But I started taking breaks and watching cartoons and stuff. Mostly I watched through Rick and Morty again. It's so good.
That is a wacky show.
It's so damn good. Just the worlds, and there's just too much to it that I enjoy. I started watching some Futurama as well.
Oh, Futurama is awesome.
I played through Hotline Miami.
That's a good game.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good.
I haven't finished it, but it was fantastic what I did play.
Yeah, is the sequel out or is it coming?
It's out. It's been out for a few years.
Oh, was it? Oh, God. I should really check that one out.
It's a sequel because your little guy can use two guns.
Oh, wow. Nice. Is it a proper sequel or is it just like Hotline Miami Plus?
No, it's a new story. It's a new new characters you play as, and there's some new mechanics in there too, like being able to dual wield weapons. Like, I can't remember how it works exactly, but I think you use both sticks to like aim. Okay. So your guy's like using two Uzis while he's like running or whatever.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I'll check that out. I played some Forager again. I played a bit of Forager.
Oh yeah, I remember that game.
It was a big update for that, so I thought I'd check that out. But I couldn't see the update. I think you have to play into it a bit more to get that. I started playing Warframe as well.
Warframe is something else.
I'm not sure if I like it yet.
Okay.
I've been told you'll like it more when you play it a bit more, right?
Okay. Have
you played it?
Oh yeah, it got me like immediately.
Really?
I'm maybe have the opposite effect on me that it did on you, where it immediately just activated my elements. I loved the setting, I loved the design of everything, I loved the mood and the tone. And the kind of the sort of aloofness of the the story elements, you know, like where you've got this like person talking to you from far away, and everything's kind of vague, but yeah, I don't know. There's something really cool and alien about it, and kind of dark and weird.
It's very alien, isn't it?
What's that?
It's not what you'd expect. It is very alien. It's cool.
It's very strange, but in a very refreshing. It feels like if Heavy Metal Magazine had made video games, you know, back when it was relevant.
Yeah.
Like kind of like that. Like it feels like some weird French sci-fi thing. But the more I played it, like the more I kind of fell off with it a little bit. Like it had such a strong initial impact on me, and then like you start to kind of see the grind.
Okay.
And it's like, I'm okay right now.
See, I've just been playing through. I've done all the first missions. I started playing through a load of the missions, and I'm waiting to see the grind. That's what I'm hoping to see it soon, because at the moment it just feels like I'm just going into these corridors and slicing things up with a sword.
Yeah.
I don't know. And plus the menus are awful, but
yeah, the user interface stuff is not the best.
No, but it's all right. It's still it's a damn good game. Absolutely astonishing that it's free. Absolutely amazing.
That's another thing about that game is it's like this thing shouldn't exist.
No, not what the level it's at. It's ridiculous how that's free. I don't know.
It's like that and Path of Exile are two mysteries.
Yeah. And Path of Exile 2's on its way, isn't it?
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
That'll be dropping around about the time of Diablo 3, I'd imagine, or 4, whatever it is. Diablo 4, is it?
4, yeah.
Right, we'll see Path of Exile 2, Diablo 4 fighting head-to-head.
Yeah, match of the century.
Yeah.
It'll be a bloodbath.
They'd be foolish to release anywhere near each other, I'd assume. But I imagine Blizzard would want to show Path of Exile who's boss, you know what I mean?
I wouldn't be surprised. They're like, all right, you sit down, kid.
Yeah, but Path of Exile would probably win in the long term. That's the thing.
Well, they have the better. Oh God, what do you call it? The people like them more.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, it's a better tale of a company, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll have to see. But I'm actually excited. I pre-ordered a game, and I never pre-order games. Pre-order games.
Yeah, what'd you pre-order?
I pre-ordered it. Arrives through my door, physical edition for the Switch on the 14th of February 2020. I bought it without a moment's hesitation. I don't even know much about the game, TOBOR. I'm building up the excitement here, the hype, right?
Yeah.
It's
I can feel it.
Made by one of my very favourite game companies, Level 5, creators of Dark Cloud, Dark Chronicles.
Yes, yeah.
Ni no Kuni. It's called Snack Dungeon. Yeah, it's a dungeon crawler of absolutely no. It's just a ridiculous dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be interesting. It looks wacky as hell.
Snack Dungeon.
Snack Dungeon, yeah.
Oh, this looks fun.
Yeah. So I got that coming. We'll see if it's any good. Hopefully it's not shit. But yeah, I've never. It just sort of took me. I was like, because I was checking up on Dark Cloud. I was thinking, are they ever going to make a bloody third one? You know, and I was reading, and then I just got a link to this Snack Dungeon. I was like, what's this? And then I read up, and I was like, oh fuck, it's them.
Sounds like Dark Cloud 3.
Yeah, well, even if it's just got a sniff of it, you know what I mean? Even if it's got a whiff,
yeah,
you know, I'll take it. So I got that coming on the 14th. Looking forward to playing that. Very much looking forward to it, and I'm also looking to pick up Void Bastards as well. So
yeah, that looked interesting to me.
Yeah,
but I haven't actually played it. But it's a roguelike, right? Or roguelite. It's like a first-person shooter, procedurally generated dungeon shooter kind of thing in space.
Yeah. There's a couple of reasons I want to get it. One, because it looks cool as shit.
Yeah, it's got that cool like comic book look to it.
It's also got this sort of ridiculous, nonsensical sci-fi vibe, which I'm sort of on at the moment with Geo. So
yeah. I could see those two sitting on a shelf together.
Yeah, I don't know. Void Bastards is a bit punchier. Do you know what I mean? It's a bigger budget thing. You know.
Well, sure, but in vibe and spirit and tone, I think.
Yeah, in spirit, we are the victors. You know.
In spirit, I'm doing very well.
But that's it. That's all I've got for you, TOBOR. I have nothing else.
The well is dry.
The well is dry. Do you have anything else you'd like to add to this seminar, Toblerone?
No, I think we've about covered everything. You're working on GO2. You're streaming on Fridays.
Oh yeah, on Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I aim to get the Mega Decks out this year.
I'll do it.
That's what I want to freaking do and put Geo in there. Geo 1 and 2.
Get it in there.
Yeah.
Get it in.
Yeah, big old Geo spread in Mega Decks issue 1. Along with a bunch of other stuff that we've played before and talked about on FlameCast, like little these awesome little indie games that deserve to be played and looked at and fondled and caressed. So there's that, and then
I look forward to it. I do. I want to see this. I want to see it to fruition.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
same.
TOBOR, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Regardless of what anyone else tells you, I do like you. We're good pals. And that's
likewise,
your lot, ladies and gentlemen. Exactly. Thank you all for tuning in. We've been the FlameCast. I've been Windybeard. He's been Toblerone Prime. Give him a wave, TOBOR. Give him a wave. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, see you later. Much love.